the Superfly from the Fiji Islands, where the purest water come from.
How did you get started in the wrestling business?
Well, first, brother, I started off, as a bodybuilder, and after my last contests, then that's how I got into it.
Were you a fan of wrestling before you watched it, or?
I was a great fan of all kind of things, especially wrestling. That was my most important thing to do.
Right. Where did you grow up at? Where are you from?
I was born in the Fiji Islands. Then I was raised up in all around the Micronesian Islands, like the Gilbert Islands, the Marshall Islands, Ponape and Guam, and ended up in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Honolulu, Hawaii. When you got into the business around, what year was it, 1969, I believe?
Yes.
Who were some of the early guys that helped you get into the business? Like, who trained you?
There was a guy named from up in Canada. His name was Frankie Lane. Cowboy Frankie Lane.
That's from the Stu Hart territory, or is that separate?
I think that was separate.
That was separate.
I met him in Hawaii, and that's how it first started.
What was the training like when you first got into the business? Like, what were some of the things they made you do?
Learning how to take bumps, and learning how to, get holds like headlock, and stuff like that.
What were some of the early territories that you first got into when you first came into the business? What were some of the first promotions that you worked for?
First was Portland, Oregon. And from Portland, Oregon, I went up to Vancouver, BC, British Columbia. Went to San Francisco. From San Francisco back to Portland. And Portland, I went to Dallas, Texas. Wrestled down there for a while, and then came back to Portland again. Then I ended up in North Carolina. And from North Carolina, I was up there in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and all that.
For Vern?
Vern Gagne. And then from there, went back to Hawaii, wrestled in Hawaii a little bit, and I came back to North Carolina. From North Carolina, I ended up in New York City, the Big Apple.
What are your memories of working the Portland territory and Don Owens? What are your memories of Don Owens?
It was great. It was a great territory to wrestle at, beautiful country and everything.
Was Don Owens a pretty good promoter?
Yes, he was.
What are your memories of your series of matches with Rip Oliver, or I believe Ripper Owens?
Ripper Owens?
Yes.
It was very good, very good. I enjoyed working with mostly all these guys.
Right. Memories of working with Jesse Ventura, because he was there at the time.
Oh yes, he was great. He was a good man to wrestle with.
Was the travel pretty hard back then?
No, everything was close by. At the time we didn't have to fly much. We used to drive a lot, so we get to see the whole country and get to meet a lot of people, which is great.
Now, I believe Roddy Piper was working Portland at the same time you were there.
He came a little later. I left when he came in.
Okay. What are your memories of teaming with Dutch Savage?
It was great. It was very great. I enjoyed a lot of good times with him and had a lot of fun.
You also, I believe, worked with veterans like Carl von Steiger and Carl Krupp.
Oh, yes.
What were those guys like?
They were great people, brother. It was nice. It was a good old school, and you learned a lot from them.
Were any of the veterans try to stiff you or anything like that to try to teach you the business?
You learn a lot of things, up and downs and stuff, but it all worked out to be the best.
Right. Memories of working with Playboy Buddy Rose in the Portland territory.
It was great. It was fantastic. I had a lot of fun with them guys, brother.
What was he like outside the ring?
He was a good human being. He's a lot of fun.
Memories of working with the Iron Sheik.
Oh, great. He was a fantastic guy. Super guy to work with, and a very nice-hearted man. He's a wonderful guy to be around with.
What was he like outside the ring? Was he pretty funny?
Oh, yes. Always making you laugh all the time, and it's fantastic.
Right, right. Now, did other promoters try to steal you away from Portland? Because I think you were with Portland for about 5 years.
Probably around 8 years, somewhere around there. But yeah, Don Owens didn't really want me to leave, but I had to move on and take the next step.
Right. Now, what led you leaving and going to the Mid-Atlantic region? It was basically that time.
Yeah, yes.